welcome back to another day of Vlogtober. Okay, so today we're going to talk about product versus process crafter. Those knitters, crocheters, people who sew, people who paint, anybody that craft. Do you prefer the process or do you just want the finished product? So we're going to talk about that today. But before we do that, let's talk about what I'm wearing. So I am wearing the Year-Round Popover by Melissa Georges. Now, unfortunately, she does not design anymore. And I don't believe this pattern is available anymore. You can certainly check her out on Instagram and Ravelry, but I'm not sure if she still has the pattern available. So you can definitely check that out. But either way, I will leave a link to the pattern, and I'll leave a link to the video that I made, because I made a complete video about this sweater, and in that video, in the description notes, it'll have like all the links and all of that stuff, and you can definitely check it out. But I love this. And yeah, so I'm trying to remember, I use Knit Picks Swish Worsted, I do believe. I forget the colorway, but if you go and watch that video, it will definitely tell you. I do believe, oh, I have some left. I thought I was going to have like some left over, and I did. Here it is. I ended up with 4 balls left over, and I have no idea what I want to do with these. But yeah, this is Swish Worsted and the Amethyst Heather colorway. I don't remember how many of these I used. Once again, go check out the video. But this is the yarn that I used, and I have 4 of these left. So they're 110 yards each. So I have a little over 440 yards. Yeah, these are 50-gram balls. I don't know what the meter is on it. It doesn't have the meters. Yeah, I would like it if labels also had like the meters and the centimeters and stuff like that on the label, but it doesn't. But that's okay. This is the yarn that I use. It is super soft, super squishy, and I love it. And you know what? Yeah, it's not gonna work, because there is no way, if I try to put this one skein in here, all of this is just gonna fall. It's just gonna be an avalanche, and then I have to clean it up, and then it'll be a hot mess. So anyway, this little skein is going to hang out over here on my table. But anyway, so let's talk about you know, some product versus process. And while I do that, I am going to be working on a crochet pattern, and it's the same boho cardigan that I've been working on, and I just lost a stitch. How rude. Of course, it's my fault for not securing the stitch marker. But anyway, so I have finished one sleeve, and now I have started the back panel. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to be working on this, and yeah. All right. So what type of crafter are you? Are you a process crafter or a product crafter? Now, I put out a question. It was more like a poll. I put out a poll on my YouTube community tab, and I asked you fine folks, let me see, I have the question right here. What type of knitter or crocheter are you? Product, process, or I don't know the difference. Some folks might be like, well, what's the difference? So out of 45 votes, 33% voted process, 33% voted product, and 33% voted I don't know the difference. So it's pretty split, but what we're going to do is define the difference and define what they are. Now, these are my own interpretations. You may have different interpretations, and if you do, please share. You know, definitely share it in the comments what you think. Now, I did do some research on this because I had my ideas of the difference, but I also wanted to look at a few other places. And I found this really good article that talked about the difference between process and product crafters. And it was written, it was kind of written like for knitters, but I feel like it can be applied to anyone. And yeah, I will link that article below, so you know, you all can check it out as well. So process crafters, They don't care what they're making. They just love the knitting and the crocheting. They love the rhythm and the calming effect of the craft. They don't mind ripping back if they made a mistake, because that only means that they get to do more knitting and crochet. They can knit the same pattern over and over again without getting bored. They like trying new things, new yarns, new techniques, and new constructions. They don't always care if they're going to use the item. They're just happy to make it or to try something new. Process knitters and crocheters and crafters often have multiple projects on the needles. Let's talk about the product folks. Product knitters and crocheters only care about the finished item. They might not even really like the knitting itself, but only the end result. And this is something that I often hear with people who sew. So a lot of times people, when they sew, they like the finished garment. They like the finished dress. They like the finished pair of pants. However, they did not enjoy the process of sewing that garment or those pair of pants, but they love the end result. And because they love the end result, they keep on sewing. They pick another project and they sew that one, even though the idea of sewing is just not their thing. So they like the finished product, but don't like the process of sewing. And I think that this really applies to any crafter, whether you're knitting, crocheting, sometimes you just want the finished product. And sometimes people who are product knitters, crocheters, crafters, like for example, a knitter, they might knit a super huge cardigan with cables and intarsia on super teeny tiny needles while using fingering weight yarn. Now, the product that they know that they're going to get from that, they want it. They want it so bad. Like, this yoke is going to be so beautiful. They can't wait to wear it. But they are not going to enjoy the process of working on 2mm knitting needles on light, fingering weight yarn. They are not going to enjoy that. But they want that finished product so badly that they will do it. Also, the product folks are more likely to leave small mistakes in their projects because ripping back would mean it would take longer to finish the project. So it's kind of like, look, I want this shirt so bad that if there's a tiny little mistake, I am not ripping back. I will fix it later. That's kind of their attitude. Also, product knitters and crocheters are more likely to be monogamous. So they're going to be your one project people. They're not going to have 1,000 whips. They're going to have that one project that they are focused on because they want to get it finished. So let's talk about me. Now, I am definitely a product knitter and crocheter. Well, you know what? Let's back that up a little bit. I might be more of a product knitter and a process crocheter because I love knitting. I really do love knitting, but sometimes I just want the finished product. But when it comes to crochet, it is so rhythmic and relaxing. I can't put it down. I don't know, but then again, I think it might be the project itself. I think it depends on the project itself because I really enjoy the process of knitting and crocheting, but sometimes I just want the finished product. For example, I was crocheting it was a top. It had super, super huge balloon, like huge sleeves. And I was like, my goodness, when am I ever going to finish these sleeves? And I just wanted the product. So I don't even think it depends on the craft. I think it depends on the project for me. And I have to constantly remind myself to just relax and enjoy the process. Just relax. Now, as I mentioned, I did post this on my YouTube community tab, and I had one viewer post that she is both equally a process and product knitter and crocheter. And that's something that I hadn't really thought about, and I wish I was like that. You want the finished product, but you also enjoy the process of making it. And I think that there's definitely been some projects where I've been like that. So it's like, even if you have to cast on 300 stitches or bind off 300 stitches, you still enjoy it. You don't mind it. So which one of those sounds like you? Or are you a mixture of both? So I have to tell you all about this story. Okay, So I was in JCPenney the other day, which is a store that I doesn't, like I don't go into it very often, but every once in a while they'll have some really good sales, especially on the clearance rack. You can find some really nice stuff. So anyway, I was perusing and I came across this red sweater. It looked wonderful. I love the oversized nature of it. And usually I don't wear oversized garments, but this sweater was just beautiful. And it was just my style of sweater, very classic, very simple, not a lot of intricate designs and cables and all that stuff, just real classy. So I was like, okay, this has a really nice classic fit. I think it is going to fit wonderfully. I tried on and the fit wasn't like the best fit in the world, but it was manageable, So anyway, I was like, I think I'll get it because it was actually like on the clearance rack. So I was like, well, if I don't like it, I won't be out of a whole lot. So anyway, I pick it up. I walk around the store with it for a little bit. I walk around with it in my arms. And then after a few minutes of walking around with it, I was like, you know what? I could make this. I feel like I could make this sweater. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a knitting pattern or even a crochet pattern out there that I could totally make this sweater. So what did I end up doing? I put the sweater back. Are you all like that? Have you ever done that? Have you ever saw something in the store and you were like, oh, I could totally make that. And then you put it down knowing full well that you were probably never going to make it. And I'm definitely like that. When I see knitted garments in the shops and the stores, I'm like, oh, I can make that. And when I see crochet garments in a store, don't even get me started on crochet garments because that right there is a whole nother rabbit hole that I'm not even going down because we all know crochet is made by hand, not machines. But whatever, we're not going there. We're not going there. Anyway, let me know, have you ever saw something in the store and you were like, I could totally make that. You put it down and you try to make it, and then let me know if you actually ended up making it. But anyway, I need you all's help. So take a really good look at the red sweater. Let me know if you know of a pattern that is close to this sweater. It can be knit, it can be crochet. It looks like it did have like a drop shoulder, kind of a boxy fit, kind of cinched it in the waist a little bit. Let me know if you know of a knitting or crochet pattern that would be close to that sweater. I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, y'all, so it has been so wonderful talking and chatting with you all today. I really hope that you all are enjoying my Vlogtober videos because I am enjoying making them. And until next time, bye!